we did great on time today, right, Mom?
Yes.
So that means our feature presentation gets more time, so it's fabulous. So at this time, I'm going to bring up the president and founder of the GNA. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm bringing up, sorry, I forgot. Rapping Juan Hoy, and if we're lucky, he's actually going to wrap the presentation and does it. Rapping Juan.
Someday. Thank you all for coming. I think you're going to be very happy that you came. Liz came all the way from Vallejo, which I think is probably an hour and a half or 2 hour drive. So it's my pleasure to introduce her. She's a good friend of mine. So Liz Ramos is a healthy lifestyle advocate, and she owns Bite-Size Habits, Life-Size Results. So you can search Facebook for that, Bite-Size Habits, Life-Size Results. She's been empowering others in their health for the last 3 years. She's visiting us from Vallejo, and she's lived there for the last 24 years. So Liz has a huge passion for learning and sharing what she learned, what she's learned from others, and that's what she's going to talk about today. And she's also going to share a contributions game, and I was a bad boy, I didn't do my assessment, but I heard that David did his. So he will be our role model for this evening. So help me welcome Liz Ramos.
Yay!
Thank you. And it's always very nice to get a warm welcome from a good friend and colleague, and I want to thank GNA for inviting me. Thank you, Elias, for the invitation.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, wait a second. So, how many of you guys actually did your homework today? I think I scared off the crowd because I gave homework. So nobody.
Well, you know, Liz, my question is, did Jeff not do his homework?
I did not. I've been home all day.
Alright, so let's start with that. Because the name of this organization is GNA Masterminders. So, that's what we're going to do today. That's what I mentioned. And someone asked me earlier what tonight was going to be about, and I said it's about everything. It really is. And if I don't hit on everything, then you let me know. But I really do think it is about everything. So what we'll have you guys do then, I put it out there before, and you know what, where's my phone? I want somebody time me or keep me on track.
For how long?
Well, no, just in terms of what's the end of the presentation?
Till 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just so. Okay, sweet. Okay, so what we're going to start with before we dive into the content and I tell you guys more about it is we're going to take this quick assessment. They are simple statements, and this is the instruction that I'm going to give you. So hopefully you have a pen, because I don't have many extras today. So pull out a pen if you don't have one yet. This is the ultimate life assessment, okay? And it covers those environments that are up there on that board. There are 9 different environments. The first one I'll explain just briefly in case you're not aware, memetics. Memetics is the very first one that surrounds you. Memetics is our belief system. It's the filter through which we see everything. It's like the type of glasses you wear. However, whatever your belief system is, it affects every other environment because it's how you connect or how you process things. So the others are self-explanatory, and you'll see in the assessment. So it's literally a check-off on each statement, yes or no. When you read the statement, if that statement is true for you when you read it, check it off. If it doesn't ring true for you as soon as you read it, don't check it off. And it should be really fast because it should be your gut. Don't think about the questions. You read it, it's true for you or it's not. Is that fair? Pretty simple?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to pass them out. Oh, I'll want to take.
Are there any extra pens here?
You know, I have one, mine that I can lend. I'm not sure if anyone else. You got one? Okay, perfect. I'm sorry? Liz. Alright, so if you guys finished, I'll take the silence. Now this is interactive, it's a game. I'd like you to pay attention to that because when I first started getting involved with this group, it was very interesting, their live event that I went to. And you pay attention on how you play even in exercises here is how you play life. So be kind of aware of that. Sometimes if you sit and don't participate a lot, does that ever relate to how you interact with others outside of the game? So just keep that in mind. So before I ask
me a smirk. Now my whole house is great. I can do anything good. I like my school. I like anything. I like my dad. I like my cousins. I like my aunts. I like my Allisons. I like my mom. I like my sisters. I like my dad. I like I like my hair. I like my haircuts. I like my pajamas. I like my stuff. I like my room. I like my whole house. My whole house is great. I can do anything good. Yeah. Good. Better than anyone.
So that's my favorite part. When she says I can do anything better than anyone. Did you guys know Jessica? I'm sure. Did anybody of you seen that before? Yeah. So when I saw it, I mean, I think I played it for like a few. It's gone viral. It's now she's a teenager. She's like 17 or something like that. But it's awesome. So do you get out of bed feeling that way about your life?
Yes.
Your confidence that's awesome. That's good. I know there are days that me not so much. At least not in the past. But that would be awesome. I mean, if you portray that kind of self-confidence, that great about your life, you think that would make a difference in how you interact with others and your energy and the success of your business? Just everything, right? It would be awesome. So, really like Jessica. So, talking about the map of life. So, when we have a goal, take a simple goal like a health goal, you want to lose weight, for example. People sometimes take their before and after shot, right? And it's very visible, or you get on the scale and there's a number. Lost weight, gain weight, what have you. You can track it, but how do you sometimes measure life overall? That can get kind of tough. So what this is meant to be, it's not meant to score, are you winning, are you losing? There's a whole lot of areas here. It's a map of where you are in life. So I know we rely on GPS a lot. And I still do, but usually I print out my little steps anyways because I want to have a good idea of my point A to point B and have an idea of where I'm going. And that's all that this assessment really is. It's an opportunity to check out where you are on the map of life at this point. And it's all about you. It's not about the comparison game with others. So one thing about the environments that was really huge for me to understand and that has helped me improve my life in different areas is that these environments there are 9 of them, they make a part of each and every one of our lives 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They do. Whatever those are for you, whatever your beliefs are. After taking the assessment, you have an idea of what it refers to with the physical environment, so our spaces, the areas that we work in, etc. And when we have a goal, for a lot of you here who are here to network on your business or what have you, or any other area, we need to not use all willpower in order to go to it. Because willpower and being driven is really tiring, if you have ever experienced that. When you have a goal and you're trying to really focus, it takes a lot of your energy. But when you design your environments and make changes in the environments that actually pulls you towards your goal, it feels like you're flowing. Like everything, it takes much less energy. And that made a whole lot of sense for me. And one can have a huge impact on the others. So I'll give you one quick example about my life in the past 3 years and how they interact. 3 years ago, I, in my relationships, as an example, with my husband, great marriage, totally happy, wonderful relationship with my family. Let's see, my networks are really good, but my financial area, which is what I did for a living at the time, I was human resources manager with my background for a decade. I hated it. I hated a lot of things about it. I loved the company that I worked for. I was really good at it. I made really good money, but I hated it. And it drew out so much of my energy and stressed me out so much that it screwed up everything else. It took so much of my time. I didn't have time to take care of my body. I gained more weight than I have ever gained in my whole life because of that one environment. That one environment brought everything else down. Because I was so stressed in my health and everything else. So that's an example of how just one environment can affect the rest. Sometimes positively, sometimes negatively. And over the last 3 years, I've really worked on shifting that area, my financial environment, specifically on what I do to gain income to balance everything out. When I started my own business, as a lot of you who are entrepreneurs know, you put so much energy into it. It takes so much time, and I was driven. Like, I'm gonna make this work, this is gonna work. But then other things started to suffer a little bit as well because I stopped putting my happiness and my health first. So when we create environments on purpose and have all of those in mind, it helps us kind of carry forward. All right, let's see here. Okay. So you guys are going to do some sharing with a partner, so I didn't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we're pretty even. So take 2 minutes to share with your partner what some of your ahas were. Was there anything that stood out for you more that you, whether it was good or bad, take 2 minutes to share. Also, if there were any particular feelings that you had while you were taking it, something that hit your gut, like, I wish I could check this off, but I can't. And I would really want to, something that hit your emotion, take note of that. So pair up with someone and take 2 minutes to share how that went for you. And about your process with this. Not all at once, please. Please.
There's some areas, of course, you go through and I think, oh yeah, that's me, that's no problem. I'm good on that. And there are other areas, of course, where there's some holes in there. And of course, some of the things, I guess the goal is to get 10 all across the board. Is that what the goal is? Or some of the questions I thought were
I find it very hard to believe that there's other people with hundreds out there, but
yeah,
that would equate to.
Right. But still, some of these things I thought, well, no, that's not me. So, and I have no problem with. So some of the things I do think, oh, and I need like mimetic. There's a few areas here that I need to think about those a little more and see whether there are some issues that, like I'm aware of my mental and emotional triggers from the past, and I really overreact to them when people trigger them, which is an interesting concept because we all have baggage from the past. And it's interesting, I know as a kid there were certain things that when I moved from one town to another, the next town I went to, they started calling me the same name for some reason, and I said, oh, can you come up with something better? But still, there are certain other things that will trigger you, trigger me, that you gotta think, I could throw that away.
Okay. Anybody else would like to share anything that you?
My physical is empty, but it had a lot of stuff in there that I didn't expect.
Okay.
So relating that all into one category, just like, well, it kind of opened my eyes that I need to make big focus on changing my environment, what I would call my physical environment.
Okay. Sweet. Anybody else? So I really liked what Jeff shared about how there are some things, because I remember since the first time I took it, sometimes it's about, you get that thing in your head about a score, but there are some things that you care about more, right? Some things you go, no, that's not me, but it doesn't really matter, no big deal. And there are others that kind of go, ugh, I really wish I could check that off. But that's awesome. It's all about integrity and authenticity with yourself, to be honest and know whether you can feel confident about that or not. So I'm going to play a piece of a video. It's not done streaming, but I want you guys to meet Jim Bunch and Dean Kosegi. Jim Bunch is the founder of The Ultimate Game of Life. He is a coach in personal development and an entrepreneur. And just tidbit on how I started sharing this. I was a participant in his program exactly a year ago, last year. I attended a live event. Really love the way that he teaches. I've taken a lot of things about how to grow my business, different pieces here and there, but when I went and saw this, it really made sense to me how it brought everything together in my life, and I felt like I really needed that at that time. So I've been a participant in his program since then, almost a year, and have become a friend with Jim and very close to a business partner as well. And I love to share it with people. So he's going to talk a little bit about his point of view, the debrief of this. Can you guys even hear? Is it not worthwhile?
What?
I don't know that we can. Let me see if I can make it louder. Hold on. I don't know that we can. Let's see. If not, I won't. Yeah. Here we go. There we go. Alright.
Elias, it looks like that one speaker's turned around too.
Did it twist?
They're from other
No,
faces.
Yeah.
Just click anywhere else.
It was just the light.
Yeah, click anywhere else. Okay, there you go.
But if we can't hear it, I won't play it.
Make sure the volume's up on the,
Yeah,
it's all the way up now.
No, on the screen.
On the screen.
On the right side.
Yeah, on the right, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, Steve. All right, well, welcome back. So you had a chance to connect with somebody, hopefully that you haven't spent a lot of time with, and you had a chance to share some insights. Well, we wanted to talk with you a little bit and see what some of the things were that came up that we notice when people do this, and see if any of these resonate with you. And you're probably going to have some in addition to what we mentioned here, so you'll get a chance to share that with your whole group.
We give this to so many people. We sort of get like this skyscraper view as we watch so many people go through this. We get to see their emotions and their resistant points, and then we get to see a lot of scores. Like maybe, some of you did today a little bit, as you probably talked in the room already and shared some of the areas that surprised you. But I also have noticed how many people haven't had vulnerable moments with another human being sometimes in a long time. Now, women, they're a little different. When women get together, you notice they like to share, and when women get together, sometimes they talk openly about what's not going right. So they're like, how can we remove stress? But as far as guys are concerned, we don't normally sit down and go, hi, Jim, how's the whole life going on for you, and where are things sort of kicking you around? I mean, we don't talk about that stuff. So maybe that was a little bit of an unusual moment for you, but didn't it connect you? Didn't you share something a little bit? Some of you probably like someone else in the room now a little bit more than when you first met them today.
One of the other things that I've noticed too is when people take this test, you'll notice that there's typically one area that they do really well in, or a couple that they do well in, and there's one or two that we call your Achilles heel. The part that is holding you back and maybe holding you down. Maybe it's because you're not really strong in that area. Maybe it's because you've never really notified that area of your life to say, I gotta improve that. Whatever the reason is, it's not really that relevant. But what's important is to recognize that most humans have an area that we're really strong in and an area that we need support in. So maybe that's something that showed up for you. We see that all the time. Here's one of the cool things about this. You may also notice that all the environments are connected, and that if you improve one area or one environment, it's probably going to start to make a difference in the other one. So that weakest area, my question is, if you bump that up by 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 points, what would that do for your other environments? Would it automatically create a more positive impact in those environments?
And allow you not to work so hard in those other areas. Sometimes you might be at an 8 or a 9 in some areas of your life, but it's like having the gas pedal pressed all the way down and the brake at the same time. And what this does is this allows you to start to recognize maybe that this brake, if you can take your foot off the brake, you wouldn't have to work as hard in the other areas of your life right now. I mean, I know it happens to me all the time, and when we see so many people go through this, they really don't value it initially. They're unaware that they're unaware. And on top of that, when I took this, it made me understand some of my areas. But when I saw other people take it, it reassured me, as Jim mentioned, that everybody needs help. So I suddenly wasn't as embarrassed or shy to talk to anyone about anything, because I knew that if anyone I met, they could be a billionaire, they could be a movie star, they could be a famous musician. But if I gave them this assessment, guess what? There was going to be some areas that they all needed help in too. And that's where I could connect with another human being and know that I could add value to them.
Listen, we haven't met anybody who's mastered all 9 of the environments yet. Okay? As a matter of fact, other than this guy. But the reality is that all of these environments, there's typically people who are good in one area, like really strong, because they put a lot of time in financial, they put a lot of time in their bodies, or they put a lot of time into their spiritual practice, or whatever it is, but they typically ignore something else. Okay? That's okay. But what we want to learn how to do, and this is what we're going to talk about later, is how to leverage other people who've mastered those environments, right?
Because this plays into something where there's 2 schools of thought. There's figure out the areas that you're strong in, and then get yourself up to speed on the areas that you need support or you're weak in. But that's one school of thought, is raise all areas of your life. But another one that many of you probably heard is focus on your strengths and not worry about your weaknesses. But how you can help elevate your weaknesses without focusing on them is what Jim just hit on. It's called outsourcing. It's leveraging other people's talents so that you can stay focused on your areas of gifting, what comes natural to you, what inspires you, and yet elevate the areas that don't come natural without you having to get good at them personally. And that's a huge win, because there's some things I just don't want to be good at. I call it plan neglect. It's not neglect if you plan it to be neglect.
It's called prioritizing. And you're not going to be able to master everything. So the other concept called memetics or memes. And that may be a new word for some of you, but basically it's your worldviews, it's your belief systems, it's how you see everything else. In other words, all those other environments. It's the filters through which we see the world. So those memes, those beliefs that we have, end up creating a lot of our experience. But what's also cool is those memes, you'll notice on the graph, touch all 8 of the environments. Because the way we look at our finances, the way we look at our body, the way we look at our spiritual environment, our nature, our network, or all those different environments, is through those filters. So you'll notice as you begin, as Dean said, if you raise your awareness, if you start to have better belief systems, if you start to be more confident, if you start to have a better time like Jessica, then as your mind grows, your memes grow, these other environments can...
Alright, and we'll leave it at that. It's straight. And that was the part that I wanted them to talk about, but that's Jim and Dean. So the memes is definitely a big thing, and when you start bringing your subconscious to your front conscious mind, it's amazing the different decisions that you make when you can actually catch yourself all the time. So a recent one for me is I was invited to participate in a certain type of business, an internet marketing business stuff. And it's been a great learning opportunity. And my first reaction for me, my memes and being able to catch myself was, nah, I don't like that in my head, right? Or inner voice. I would never respond to a Facebook ad. And I shut down. But now that I'm aware, and I've been doing this for a year, I stepped back and went, okay, not everyone is like me, Liz. You know, it's going to be a really good learning opportunity. And I'd love to learn about it and see whether it works out for me or not. So it's a really big deal to be aware of your memes because you can shut down doors. You can see the glass half full or half empty, right? So that's I think, the biggest environment. When we kind of improve in that area, it'll make such a big difference and all the rest. So let's see, what we're going to do from here is, you guys already paired up with a partner, but what we're going to do, I have a green marker and a purple marker, and if you guys want to start getting up, what we're going to do, write down or bring up your page and write down your top 2 environments, whatever those were, and your score. So for example, if my self-environment and the spiritual environment were my 2 highest scores, with the green, I'm going to write my score inside here. So if I got an 8 in self and a 9 in spiritual, those are the 2 that I'm going to write in. Okay, so your top 2 scores with the green, write the number in there. And with the purple one, take your 2 lowest scores and put them in here. So if my financial and my network were my 2 lowest, I'm going to write a 2 and a 0. Does that make sense? Alright, so, and we'll do it, each person just go ahead and write your 4 scores all at once. I think that'll be easiest. So, let's play pin the tail on the donkey a little bit. Would you like to start?
Alright.
Green high. Outside the room or hang out or what, but it's interesting to see whether there are any clusters, or you can kind of see the scores themselves are not so important, but take a look at the combinations. So, like physical seems to have a big cluster of the lower scores in the purple. Let's see here, what else do you guys, and financial. Those are, look like the 2 areas with the majority of the lower scores for the group. Nature has all green in there. Spiritual and self are pretty high. So that's kind of interesting. So you always want to take a look at the clusters, and there's a saying in Spanish that I'm sure you guys have heard before, but it's tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. And it's a lot of, right, different things. So since in the last few minutes, this is a mastermind group, and what this is about is connecting with other people, and think about 2 things. Sometimes when we meet and network with people, we try to talk, and hopefully we're thinking about how we can help them. But a lot of times we take it upon ourselves on how can I help you. So you got to make it a little bit broader than that with that network. So share an area that you would most like to improve in. It doesn't have to be your lowest score. It's whatever matters to you the most. And if you want to improve in that, and connect and see whether the other person, keep in mind yourself and your networks, and someone that you might be able to introduce them to that can help them improve in that area. I will note that on the physical one, that's huge, because for me, I have been working on decluttering for a year. If my office and desk doesn't look good, I'm not very effective when I'm trying to get my work done. So that's probably a big one to work on. your focus is really much better. Alright, so go ahead and see how you can help each other out. Is that clear? So it's share with someone what you want to improve, what area, and try to help each other out. Go for it. I'm not sure. For me, the memetics is probably a big thing to start working on. Hope that you guys found it helpful and really get that mindset, if you will, that life is a team sport. I found myself not interacting very much during the conference that I was at, and it was a huge lesson about how I played life, and definitely have turned that part around, and I'm happy to ask. So I really like when you guys ask for introductions to say what it is that you might need from someone else. Sometimes you'll connect with people much better that way than when we try to sell ourselves. Let's put it that way. Any questions that you guys have about this process? Yes.
I have kind of a straightforward question to ask about you, because that's how I am. Like before all this, and maybe like in your younger days, were you more of the quieter type?
Get on them, Liz. Get on them.
I can't even finish asking my question. Wow. Were you more of the quieter type person behind the scenes, and then you kind of broke through that?
Yeah, the whole personality profile is all of that. I'm very independent. I'm the eldest child, all of that, do it myself. Yes, that's who I was before.
So what? How did you break through that change? Was it part of this program, or was it just other things too, or?
Definitely, this has been the thing that this program has helped me take off everywhere. I kid you not. I've gotten more clarity in my life. Two big things. One, I got really clear on what my values were, because they put us through an exercise that's very specific, and I never knew that, and it made sense. But when you actually know it and say them off the top of your head what your top 5 values are, you start making very different decisions in your life. Very different decisions, and you start really realizing what's going to make sense for you or not. And 2, get really clear. You get that real sense of, like in the last 4 months, I have shared with a lot of people that know me that I have never felt so inspired and happy in my life without anything tangible. Not the money, not any of that. Everything that's good in my inner game has stepped up so much more. It's just incredible.
That's awesome.
So what is your day-to-day job? What exactly do you do?
My company, Bite Size Habits, Life Size Results, is a health coaching company that I do. I teach participants via workshops where we build community. I do some one-to-one coaching, but really enjoy the workshops a lot more because other people get to connect with each other over our various sessions. So that's one line of business. I'm working with Jim Bunch to launch this business in Spanish, because the first time that I attended it, I realized how much my community needs that. Hugely, so I'm working on that project, which is all about upgrading people's life and my mindset. And I also have a passive income business with Amway as well, where I help people in their financial environment. So those are the things that I do to make my money. Yes.
So what is Jim's business? What is the company? I'm not sure about it.
Sure, no problem. It's called The Ultimate Game of Life. You can look it up. So if you guys, all I need to do is share with him some of the feedback so you could get reviews and things, but what his business is, it's a life coaching. So what I like about this, you can see it touches on everything. And he has 3 levels of programs that he offers. One is the $28 and 28-day little challenge. They're called challenges, where you get daily videos and you start to work on these. That's what he works on. So it's $28 for 28 days, so $1 a day. His second level is a 90-day challenge, which he does a few times a year. They already started the one for this quarter. They're starting another one in January. And then his top-of-the-line program is a year-long player program, which is what I'm a part of now. Actually, for this year, and it's done so much that I've already paid up through next year, because that's how much it's done for me. Like, here's my money again. So that's what his business is. It's coaching, it's life coaching. They have a number of coaches, and the community, talk about network, that is the best cream of the crop community I have ever been a part of, ever, bar none. And I don't even have a lot of people close by. It's all online. They've given so much.
What exactly does a life coach do?
Well, his particular company focuses on all of those areas. Well, but specifically we narrow it down to 3. And I I know I'm running out of time, so, or I'm over already, but
It's okay.
his three areas are happiness, health, and wealth. And in his belief system, he believes it should be in that order, and now I have experienced that for myself. So it really brings it back to what really makes you happy. Are you doing stuff in your life that really make you happy? Are you taking care of yourself? And then the money comes after. Myself, I was very driven on the financial, starting businesses and such. The other part wasn't doing so well. When I turned it around, it all changed. So he helps people build happier, healthier, wealthier lives. Any other questions? Thank you very much for allowing me to share with you guys. Thanks.